All right, a huge political war has now erupted over Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's comments at Cambridge's Ideas for India conference, where Rahul Gandhi has said that India is not in a good place and Prime Minister Modi does not listen. He's also said that India is witnessing an attack on the institutions that built the country, which is now occupied by the deep state. Taking a jibe at the BJP, Congress MP has said that the Saffron Party is spreading kerosene all over the country. It just takes a spark for riots to hit. In fact, Rahul has compared the skirmishes with Chinese PLA in Ladakh to the situation in Ukraine, accusing the government for not allowing a discussion on border issues at all. He's also accused BJP of controlling the media. BJP, AIADMK, several other parties have launched an attack on Rahul Gandhi over his comments. BJP has said Rahul is a habitual offender. He makes grave comments each time he goes out on international platforms. Targeting Rahul Gandhi, AIADMK says that defaming India on international platforms is part and parcel of Congress's culture.
India is not in a good place. The BJP has spread kerosene all over the country. You need one spark and we'll be in big trouble. We have massive level of polarization. We have huge unemployment. We have, as I said, the backbone of employment broken. And we have massive concentration of wealth. From there, everything flows down. Our Prime Minister doesn't listen. What is Ukraine? Right? If you look at it, Putin is saying, I'm not ready for you to have an alliance with America, and so I'm going to question your territorial integrity and I'm going to attack you. Please recognize the parallels between what is going on in Ukraine and what is going on in Ladakh and in Doklam. Please realize that the same idea is at play. There are Chinese forces sitting in Ladakh, there are Chinese forces sitting in Doklam. The Doklam forces are designed for Arunachal Pradesh, the forces in Ladakh are designed for Ladakh. And the same principle is there. What the Chinese are saying, we do not accept your territoriality, and please, we do not accept the relationship you have with the United States. So we have to realize that there is a problem on the border, and we have to, whether we like it or not, we have to prepare for that problem, because we don't, we're going to get caught off guard.
ये आदत हो गई है राहुल गांधी और गांधी परिवार की, मोदी जी से नफरत की आग में जलते जलते वो भारत माता के खिलाफ ही वक्तव्य देने लगे हैं। और इस सेमिनार का शीर्षक कांग्रेस पार्टी को आइडियाज फॉर डिस्ट्रॉइंग इंडिया रखना चाहिए, क्योंकि यही उनकी मानसिकता है।
All right, let me quickly cut across to Anila Singh, who's the BJP spokesperson, joining us on the phone line. Anila, Congress's Rahul Gandhi on an international platform says India is not in the right place, it's not in a good place right now, and that BJP has spread enough kerosene all over, it just takes one spark to explode. Very strong statement that he's made in the Ideas for India event and a stage in the United Kingdom, which had large crowds and a gathering there. Of course, we've heard the stance of your party members. I'd like to hear from you. How would you receive this?
My ram to everyone, and I'm not at all surprised. Including Rahul, many of his senior party leaders, they have been degrading India internationally. This is the agenda. They don't want to see India at the top of the world. So they want to drag down the India by various means, by participating in seminars, by participating in talk shows, by giving speeches. So here is Rahul sitting in England and talking about India in such a way, he forgets that you are talking on international platform about your own country. You might be having some sort of grudges from Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji or Bharatiya Janata Party. But at the same time, you are talking about India. And I really fail to understand how he can compare Ladakh with Ukraine. And if we talk about economics, then he doesn't, perhaps he doesn't have any knowledge, or his feedback is very poor. Because if we compare India internationally or globally, economic-wise as well, India is still doing so well in comparison of all those so-called developed countries. But he doesn't have any two words to praise our country, whether we talk about vaccination, whether we talk about all those poor people whom government had been helping from every point of view, right from ration to vaccination to everything. But he says India is going like Sri Lanka. This shows that his ideas are not being entertained by his own party. His ideas are not being entertained by Indians. He's thoroughly confused person. Thoroughly confused person. That is why I call Indian National Confused Party. INC is now Indian National Confused Party. So he failed. That you are talking about your country. You are not giving any speech here in India, a political speech for elections. So,
Anila, do you believe that Rahul Gandhi here is speaking more like an opposition leader and less of a responsible citizen? According to him, India right now is looking at large-scale communal unrest, and what he said on an international platform, whether was it needed to be spoken on an international platform or not, is a different issue. But speaking of the communal unrest, which he's referred to, how would you receive that statement? Several riot-like situations that occurred in different parts of India. We're looking at recent processions, Hindu processions that were targeted, which eventually led to such kind of riots that could have easily taken lives. In fact, if it wasn't contained and controlled in the nick of time. Here is Rahul Gandhi referring to such situations, saying that kerosene is spread all over. It just takes a spark for it to explode.
With what phrase he talks about communal tension? He has forgotten that his party is responsible for the division of this country on religion base. And India and the Kashmiri Hindus have gone through like Holocaust. His family is responsible for this. And what about the Sikhs who were murdered and slain because of Indira Gandhi ji was politically assassinated? What his father said, and what today Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary wrote on his Twitter handle. He is talking about communal tension. This is one political party under whom maximum number of communal riots happened in our country. And he is saying that India is sitting on kerosene, everywhere kerosene is spread, only a spark is required. I mean, he has to mind his words, what he is saying. He doesn't have any knowledge about the history. He doesn't know anything about the Vedic culture or Sanatan Panth. He doesn't have any respect for any religion, for Hindus, for anything, for his own country. This is a shame. Congress party, in today's date, working president is his mother, but I will say collectively Congress party should take some action against this man. He is a black spot in Congress party.
The Congress says is at least you cannot accuse the Congress of not speaking the truth. That's what the Congress says in response to all that objection coming in on his comments.
Every time he talks nonsense, Congress has to come forward to advocate him. That is the only thing. Even Congress knows that he doesn't talk sense. Every time he talks, he makes blunders. And again, he has done the same thing. He might be a pampered child of his mother, but it doesn't mean that he can be a pampered child of Congress party. Congress party must understand this thing, that he is talking about our country on international platform. I mean, in today's date, if you randomly, if you are going to ask any Indian or a British Indian there, they'll say what he has talked is absolutely crap. He shouldn't have talked in this way.
All right. Ms. Anila, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Of course, the Congress party in defense saying that Rahul Gandhi is speaking the truth. At least no one can accuse the Congress MP Rahul Gandhi of not speaking the truth.